Hello, High Priestess. Breaking the pattern of loneliness has been a topic that I've been focusing on over the last few days. If you are anything like me, you might have some hypervigilance in you, hyper independence, overachieving, perfectionism, workaholism, maybe some other isms too. And if you're anything like me, when we experience these moments of overwhelm, which are typically at the juncture of big life changes, even if the changes are for the good, even if the changes are something we've manifested, the sense of overwhelm can feel louder than reality, like all of the walls are caving in, especially if you had to navigate and manage your emotions in solitude or alone, either as a child, a teenager. And that is a pattern that typically hypervigilant, I'm a woman, so hypervigilant women, but I'm sure this resonates with hypervigilant men too. Bearing it all on your back alone is the pattern that has been programmed into the code of the subconscious, right? We're just computers. We're just walking, talking, breathing computers and babies, children. And the code that was conditioned at some point in your life, at some point in my life, was you gotta handle that emotion on your own. Other people can't help you with that. And for whatever circumstances, for whatever reason. And if you're anything like me, that feeling of overwhelm and then lonely, like I can't rely on anyone, I can't bring this to anyone, I can't lean on anyone, that feeling on top of the overwhelm kind of like amplifies the overwhelm to be like, well, is this even worth it? And like maybe even worse feelings, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like, is this really, what am I doing, right? That pattern for me, unfortunately, perpetuated. I'm 38 years old. I'm very familiar with this feeling. I even had it this weekend. But I've been getting to a point over the last year or so where I am sick of that code. And for a while I thought this is just a code I have to learn to acknowledge when it shows up and learn some coping mechanisms to navigate it. And recently I was like, no, Dick. I say that with love. You don't have to accept that code. You're literally you are the magician. You're the creator of your reality. You have enough intelligence and spiritual connection and emotional awareness and physical proof in your 3D world that you are literally magic. Rewrite the code. And so what had happened Friday, I'm experiencing a period of overwhelm because of a lot of life changes all at once. It's when it rains, it pours. And I felt like a little girl. I felt like a little kid. Like I'm doing all these big things all at once and I don't really know where to turn to. I don't know that I have someone to turn to, which is also a part of the sickness of hypervigilance. One of the illusions that come in the package of hypervigilance, I don't know if you read the disclaimer on the package of hypervigilance. I have. On the package it says, batteries not included. Feelings like you don't have anyone to turn to will also arise, even if it's not true. There are people in my life I could turn to for certain things. Being mindful about who you go to for what is also using discernment on the spiritual journey, right? Especially if people aren't as deep in the ethers and the waters as you. You want to just be mindful of who you're sharing what with for your own preservation of energy. Friday came and I was deep in the emotions and I'm crying and feeling very overwhelmed and lonely. And I literally said out loud, I might get a little choked up now, High Priestess. I said, I don't want to feel this feeling, especially because it doesn't make sense. And now I don't know that logic and feelings really go together, but what I meant in that moment was I have people that I've known and I have new people around too. So feeling lonely, it doesn't make sense. I'm doing something wrong here. Not from a place of I'm being mean to myself or like being hard on myself. But the evidence, right? If you suffer from OCD, hyperfixation, ruminating thoughts, anxiety, one coping mechanism that they teach you in therapy is, well, let's list the facts. The facts are, I have high quality college friends, high quality post-college friends, small circle, and I have high quality high priestess friends I've made on the spiritual journey. Those are the facts. And the facts was, I wasn't reaching out in that moment. And then the feeling of, oh, I gotta reach out when I feel like this, that didn't feel like a realistic 555 on the clock. That didn't feel like a realistic choice. I was still in a bit of the illusion of like, I gotta reach out and be like, hey, I'm really struggling again. Like, can you listen to me? Can you hold space for me? And I said a prayer that is one of my coping mechanisms. Is I am a recovering Catholic, but I do lean into a good Hail Mary or Our Father when I need to. Any kind of prayer. You can just talk to them. Any of them. And they listen. And they did listen. Because I received a text literally like moments later from a fellow high priestess. And she said, I'm hanging out with another high priestess on Zoom. Just come hang out. And first thought was, whoa, that was so fast. You know, like, whoa, Spirit delivered so fast. And then the next thought was, and this is like achy breaky, I was like, I can't let them see me like this. I'm not gonna go. And now I'm like crying on the internet, you know, really blowing past that one. But I was able to see myself in that moment, and I was like, hey, you just prayed and got it. And now you're making up a reason to not go, to not show up in Zoom on a Friday night. It was like 10:30 at night. Like, you're in the comfort of your living room, and all you have to do is hit join Zoom, you know. And it was with two people who, like, didn't matter what my face looked like, didn't need to put a bra on, you know. I was like, Jessica, this is the discomfort of this, it's all in the head. Because I was like, once you get in that room, you're gonna be fine. And that's exactly what happened. I hopped in the Zoom room. And I love them so much. Thank you to all the high priestesses in the High Priestess community app. I love you all so much. All the high priestesses subscribe to this channel. I love you so much. I just don't have access to you because you're not in the community. Join the community. I'm kidding. Half kidding. 1/3 kidding. But I joined the Zoom, and it was so fun. And it was so real. And they let me be in the state that I was in. And I don't think I cried. I might have gotten choked up. I don't even think that it would matter, though. These folks support me and get it. And the conversation bounced around from real life stuff to 5D stuff to tarot to downloads to God consciousness, Christ consciousness, the exploration of what is oneness, general girl talk and things we're excited for, real life shit that we go through, humans humaning. And I looked at the clock, and it was approaching 1:30. I was like, whoa, way up past this girl's bedtime. Neptune and Jupiter are like, who are you? This is like old girl days, party girl days, but no, on this one, just a little, you know, light, earthy medicine. And I went to sleep so good that night. And I woke up Saturday like, wow. I didn't have that dread that I have in the morning. I have a lot of wake up and like, okay, let's brace for what hell we're gonna face today. Even though that's very rare for that to happen. That's another code. I woke up so grateful. And it's so hard to be vulnerable when you have not allowed yourself to be, because you've were trained in some way, shape, or form that it wasn't safe to do that. And I felt like I had a breakthrough, and I shared this story on Instagram just through words. And the overwhelming response to that story, you know, I only have 1,700 followers on Instagram. YouTube is you guys are my home. This is my home. Instagram's like a little landing page for people if they want a little more juice from me. But to hear the overwhelming resonance with how many people feel that hypervigilance, and then that loneliness, and then the fear of being like, hey, I'm not okay. I'm like, there has to be more people feeling this way. And I hope those people take the leap when the opportunity is presented, and like, just hop on the Zoom, hop on the phone call, hop on the FaceTime. Don't decline because you're not 100. Show up at any stage. That's what the moon does, right? She doesn't hide away when she's a crescent waxing or a crescent waning. She doesn't hide when she's a new moon and completely blank. It's not just about the full moon, it's all her phases. If you believe in the spiritual jargon I spit, then the moon is symbolic of us. And she has phases, and she's not always full and illuminated. Sometimes she's a sliver of herself, and she's still so beautiful and still holds all the power and magnitude. And you do. When you are a sliver of yourself, when you feel you are a blank slate of yourself, and when you are full and illuminated. We are the moon. You are the high priestess. And this is me stepping out of my comfort zone, you know, only letting you see my pause because it's safe, right? And not talking about the real shit that led me to tarot. This is the real shit that led me to tarot. Was the deep pains, the stuff that's like, I can't talk about, I don't know who I can talk about this with. But the cards show up. And then from the cards, I built a channel. And from the channel, I built a business. From the business, I built a community. And I'm so grateful for this community. Because you are, you know, we are all mirrors to one another. And I hope that in this confession of a high priestess, you see the beauty in you, and you see the permission that you're allowed to give yourself to be seen in your slivers and your darkness, not just when you're lit up. And I launched High Priestess Healing because I knew I had a lifetime of healing to do, and I would only be able to do that if I left my corporate job and made healing me my job. And part of that is, all of that is walking my talk. So right now, this is not what you normally see from me, right? But this is me walking my talk. And it's in the hope that you will let yourself be seen and let yourself be held. And when the illusion that there's no one you can rely on bubbles up, I just split the deck right before this just to get a little courage because this is scary. I hope you have the courage to let yourself recognize, oh, that's the illusion that comes in the package of hypervigilance. That's okay. The disclaimer's on the box. I'm gonna go anyway, because I do believe that when we have our own emotional breakthroughs, something changes in our 3D world. Everything in my 3D world is evidence of that. And I have much more to share. There's much more to come. But for now, I'm going to leave you with this. You are worthy of being held, supported, and recognized in every stage and phase of your being. There is no emotion that you should feel that you need to hide away. There's a difference between emotionally dumping on someone and saying, hey, I'm not 100. Do you have a minute? That is so healthy. And if someone says, I don't have a minute, take it, go to the next person. High Priestess, I love you so much. Thank you for witnessing me in this little bit different video. If this resonates, drop an I am the High Priestess below. I'm sending you guys so much love, and I appreciate you again. More to come, okay?